Fantastic. And we are live. So welcome back to Language Culture and Dr. Lou. And just to note that to to participate in the live chat, you just need to be subscribed for only 5 minutes. So please do, if you want to chat, make sure to check and see that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. But anyway, so today I wanted to talk about something that I get asked a lot, which is Duolingo and other language apps. And do they work? How well do they work? Is there anyone that I should go with or not? And so I'm decided to first of all take a look into Duolingo as one of the apps. And often I recommend for people to start there for free because well, it's free. So before they even decide to take the plunge and drop a bunch of money, they can start out with a free one. But sadly, as with a lot of things that come free digitally, that means you watch a lot of ads, right? Anyway, and so the thing about Duolingo is people wonder whether it can get you fully fluent in the language or not. And I say no, it's not going to get you conversationally totally fluent all the way. And depending on which language you choose, it could get you either to an advanced beginning level or beginning or lower intermediate level or even an upper intermediate level. But Duolingo alone is not going to really get you all the way to advanced fluency. And so for that, you of course will need a lot of outside practice as well as this. And it depends very much which language that you choose to learn on Duolingo. The difference of how far it will get you in general. And so if you're wanting to get to, what do they often advertise? Okay, oftentimes Duolingo is advertising, they'll say that they can teach you as much as 4 semesters of university classes, which is mostly true, although you don't end up getting a whole lot of speaking practice from Duolingo, which you do in university classes, and you especially will never be interacting with native speakers of this language, because that's one gripe I have with Duolingo, is that it's really embraced the whole AI thing. It's a very much an AI-based platform, and I don't love that because even large language model AIs are not good with natural human language. So, in my opinion, the more that they're basing their coursework on AI, the worse the exercises have become. So I don't really like that. And honestly, because it's an AI-based platform, if you do even spring for Super Duolingo or whatever, the paying thing where you get the video call function, so you're doing a sort of video call with somebody, this is not a native speaker. This is not even a real life human being. This is going to be a bot, a chat bot. And so I don't really love that exactly. But anyway, like I was saying a minute ago, it depends very much what language you choose, like how far Duolingo will get you. And the thing is, just how much it takes you to get very far in a language also depends on what language you choose and how dissimilar or how similar that language is to your native language. But just talking alone, how much content do the Duolingo courses have? There are 9 real big ones, the so-called big 9, we'll call them. that are some of the largest and most popular courses on Duolingo, and they will get you the farthest to what is known in the industry as the B2 level, which is an upper intermediate level. So it means you're not advanced yet, but you're not just a basic learner either. So you're in between, intermediate. And B2, that's a strong intermediate speaker. And so again, these languages are for one, English, of course, or Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, or Chinese. And they have a sort of simplified Chinese course, as opposed to like saying, I just want to do Mandarin or I just want to do Cantonese. They have this Chinese course. But anyway, so those are the big nine. Again, English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese. So a bunch of Western European languages, six of them, and three Asian languages, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. And how come these ones will get you farther? Because the course itself has been built up much more. So they will help you get to a strong vocabulary base of anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 words, which is more words than most people use on a daily basis, of course, but that's a pretty good vocabulary to help you be conversant, although again, not super advanced or anything. So, in addition to getting to exposing you to enough where you could hopefully gain 2,000 to 4,000 words out of the course, they will also, all these big nine that I talked about, the six European languages and three Asian languages, um, sorry, excuse me, these will also get you the solid grammar fundamentals, which means you'll be able to communicate in not just the present tense, but also past tense and future tense. And often there's more than one of each of those tenses. And you can also develop strong sense of sentence structure for other things. And on top of that, they have enough materials in there to get you pretty high reading and listening comprehension skills. So all of that is good, but regardless of which one you're using, um, Duolingo is not going to be enough. Any app, actually, in and of itself, is not going to be enough because even if you pick one of these big nine languages where they have the most coursework, how far you get will really depend on how much you're supplementing outside of the app, how much you're learning from other sources as well. Because again, you don't have any interaction with human beings on Duolingo, which is important for learning a language because what a language is for, after all, is interacting with other humans, right? And so that's an important part of it. Is you're going to want some practice speaking to a real native speaker, and you're also, yeah, going to want to have other outside help outside of the app, and that's why I will say that just the app alone is not enough. The app should be used as a supplement to learning, and not the whole method, not the whole thing. and and again, it's just in the big nine classes where the big nine languages anyway, where you can get all the way to a B2 level. And that's even with you're going to want to do a good amount of work outside of Duolingo itself to get there. Now, other languages that are like medium-sized languages, meaning the courses are not as thoroughly developed, don't contain as much content. Some of these, they will get you anywhere from A2 to B1, maybe your maximum. So A2 would be a pretty strong beginning level, like an upper beginner as opposed to pure novice, you know. So, but still, that's a beginning level to B1, which is the lower intermediate level. So you're just getting to intermediate level fluency. And again, they will not get you anywhere near advanced fluency. And those ones are languages like Dutch and Russian and Swedish. So they have a few medium sized courses. And again, don't expect to go too far beyond the beginning level with these courses. And again, they're not the big nine. And so these are, I gave a few examples, Dutch, Russian, and Swedish. So these are not the most popular courses on Duolingo, and they're not the biggest classes. They're also not the super most developed of all, but they are developed strong enough to get you up to A2 or maybe even B1 fluency. But again, I highly recommend it supplementing this or using this Duolingo as a supplement to another learning method that does very necessarily involve interaction with other human beings using their language and reading authentic, culturally authentic documents. And this can't doesn't just have to be in reading; it can also be in observing, like television and things like that. And and then you have a third level of Duolingo classes, which are the newest courses. They are newer and much smaller courses, and those ones only get you up to A1. So they keep you at the very beginning level, at a novice level. So it will get you knowing a bunch of words, like maybe you'll end up knowing a couple hundred words in this language, but that hardly gets you to a position where you can be conversant, conversationally fluent in the language. And languages available on Duolingo at that level, examples I could give are Navajo, which I think is one of the newest languages they've done, as well as Hawaiian. So I'm liking that there's some indigenous languages incorporated there, but again, these are not big courses, so they won't get you super far in your language learning journey. And interestingly, at this level of the newest and smallest courses, there's actually some fictional languages, some so-called synthetic languages, which are not natural human languages. They've developed in TV and movies and blah, blah, blah. The most famous example of all of these is Klingon. So, yeah, that's right. Duolingo does have some Klingon for you. But again, that will get you to knowing a few hundred words of Klingon, but you're not going to be knowing a full grammar enough to be fluent or anything like that. And let's see, I don't know. If anybody has any questions about any of this, please put them in the chat. Again, you only need to be subscribed to for 5 minutes to be able to chat. Or if you end up watching this on the replay, anyone is allowed to comment as well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about this. And again, yeah, I find it interesting that Duolingo has Klingon on it, among other things, but because that's not even a natural human language, it was totally invented by the writers of Star Trek, of course. And so, how far will Duolingo get you? Well, that depends on what language you're talking about, but the very farthest you go if you do one of the big nine, like Spanish, French, or Italian, or Japanese, you might be able to get as high as B2. And B2 meaning an advanced intermediate level. I shouldn't combine advanced and intermediate in the same description. An upper intermediate level. That's a better way to put it. And one other thing that happened lately, I have a Duolingo account. I am a user of that. With my daily streak, is actually goes back to 6.8 years, I think, is what I figured it out mathematically to be. So that means 2019. So going back to before the pandemic, I've been using it for that long. And actually, I was using it for a few years before that, but I it's not like I let my daily streak break. The last time I did that was in 2019. Uh, Although it's easy to keep a daily streak going with streak phrases and whatnot. And one thing I do like about Duolingo is that it has a lot of tools to motivate you for a making it a daily habit. And again, a daily streak is one of them. And because if you're trying to learn another language and you're not practicing it every day, you have a really hard time getting all that far in a language because spaced repetition is key to learning a language, and so every single day you want to be doing, or at least most days you want to be using another language if you're trying to learn it. Because if you stop using it for a little while, a lot of it just sort of goes away. You lose it. It's just like if you're trying to learn how to play a musical instrument. If you want to get better pretty quickly, you're going to have to practice every single day, right? And if you start skipping a lot of days of practice and whatnot, it's not gonna work out so well for you. And so before getting into this too much more, I wanted to see if I could share some of this Duolingo screen. Yeah, let's. I'm gonna share my screen. Like I said, I myself have an account, and it's gonna be just to let you know if you don't know what this app is. This is not the mobile app, by the way. This is the app on a PC, on a web browser. And let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I forgot to share the sound. So I'm going to try again. Sorry about that. Okay. Also share tab audio. No. Yes. Okay. On. There we go. So I wanted to give you a better idea of what courses they offer, and this would be courses for English speakers. And let me see if we can make this bigger. Okay, I made it a little bigger. And the four checkmark boxes that you see, those are the courses I'm already signed up for. I started Duolingo to begin with back in, I think, 2014, maybe 2015, when I noticed my Spanish was getting really rusty because I hadn't used it in years at that point. I think the last time I used it in life would be when I traveled to Guatemala. I think that was like 17 or 18 years ago. Well, how long was it by 2024? It had been like 6 or 7 years. And so started with Spanish. Then I figured let's get my Italian back a little bit and started doing Italian. Then I also added French to this just so I would have an option that was like super duper easy um, for me, something that I wasn't actually working at. This was my way of making sure I could keep my daily streak going even on days I didn't want to work at it, which goes against really learning other languages. And I think um, the most unfortunate turn my Duolingo experience took is when they started offering chess. And I think this was just last year, just last spring, like March or April of 2025, I think it was. They started offering this chess thing. And what's the problem with chess? It's because, well, it tempted me. And so now I put it in there. And so when I'm doing chess on Duolingo, when I'm learning how to play better chess, that means I'm not working on the other language courses I'm taking, right? And the point is, have to work on them if I want to keep learning anyway. And so, in addition to Spanish, French, and chess, we have Japanese right here with a lot of learners, more than 18 million learners, and German, about 16 million learners. can also do math or Hindi or Korean. Again, a lot of learners. And so most of the classes with the most learners of all are the most developed classes. So they will get you the farthest in your control over this language. Now, beyond these eight, Italian, Chinese, again, they have a simplified version of Chinese. They're not distinguishing here Mandarin versus Cantonese or so forth. It's a simplified Chinese, and they do have more than 9 million learners, um, and which is less than Italian learners that they have, which is like 10.5 million. And then Russian, like I said, the Russian course isn't quite as far developed as English or French or Chinese or Italian. So you might not be able to get as far in your learning of Russian. And plus, Russian is what we call a level 4 language. So it's a lot harder for native English speakers to learn than if you just try learning another Germanic language like Dutch or a Romance language like Italian or French. Russian's a lot more difficult. The same goes for Chinese, right? And Arabic, also with Turkish and Arabic, these are a medium-sized courses. They're not really the part of the big nine either, so they don't have as much developed, as far as I can tell. Sometimes these things change. If they can add one more material to a course, I'm just going by the last time I checked this, which was earlier this week. And so Portuguese, Turkish, Dutch, or Greek, or Polish, Swedish, Vietnamese, Latin. And that's funny that they're still offering Latin because Latin's a so-called classical language, aka a dead language. So nobody speaks Latin as a native speaker anymore, right? But anyway, it might be useful if you're at the Vatican or whatnot. But hey, and the Norwegian, Irish, Hebrew, Indonesian, Ukrainian, Finnish, Danish, and what is this one? High Valyrian? That one, I don't know. I don't know that to be I've never heard of that language. I wonder if it's a natural language or if it's a synthetic language. That's interesting. So anyway, we're not even done with them yet. We got quite a few more. Here's another set of 12 of them. Romanian, Czech, Hawaiian, Zulu, Swahili, Welsh, Hungarian, Scottish Gaelic, Haitian Creole, Esperanto, Klingon, or Navajo. Of course, if they have synthetic languages, they're going to have Esperanto, um, which is the oldest and possibly best known synthetic language that wasn't actually just made for a TV show or a movie or anything. And of course, you can take Yiddish, or there's a music class, and surprisingly, among courses for English speakers, it also is giving English as an option, which that's funny because that would not be such foreign language anymore. But yeah, so it has a lot of language options. I'm looking High Valyrian here because again, I have not heard of this language. Oh, it's a fully constructed language created by a linguist for HBO's Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. Okay. Sorry, I had to look that up because I was interested to see um, yeah, uh, no wonder I hadn't heard of it. Although I have watched a little Game of Thrones, but I guess I forgot about that one. Anyway, but that is all the different languages offered here. So I wanted to at least show you some of those. And again, not all of them will get you to the same exact level everywhere. And let me just get out of here. Okay, let's show you um, what the Duolingo looks like inside the courses, and say if I go to learn, I bet you it's going to be on my daily French review. That's the thing I do pretty much after midnight every night to make sure I keep my learning streak going on Duolingo, even if I don't find time the next day to do a whole lot of it. And so that's what you get if you have finished a whole course. In one of these, you will have just a daily refresher, just to sort of keep your skills, treading water, just maintaining your skills so they don't plummet. So that's kind of cool. And let's see. And by the way, this is different, you might notice, than the mobile app, because on the mobile app, instead of these hearts here, where you have 5 hearts for 3 hearts, um, where what happens with hearts is you lose a heart when you make a mistake. You lose them. Whereas on the mobile app, they replace them with you get 25 bars of energy. And I don't love that, because even if you're getting perfect score, getting everything correct, you're still losing bars of energy, which mostly means you got to watch more ads to get more energy back. And of course, if you try the Super Duolingo, um, if you do the Super Duolingo, you get unlimited hearts, so you don't have to worry how many mistakes you make or how many bars of energy you use. You can have unlimited to go. But again, that's just the super version, and it does get you away from having to watch a lot of ads as well. And again, what I do like about Duolingo is that they have a lot of motivators to keep you learning every day. For instance, your daily streak, which again, uh, 2,486 days. That's what day I'm on today. Even though I used a streak freeze on Monday, apparently I didn't practice for any of the 24 hours of Monday, but luckily I had a streak freeze, so I kept my streak going. Um, so that's one of the motivators. And another one is they put you in different leagues. Um, and so right now it says I'm ranked number 3 in my little division of the Diamond League anyway. So that's, to me, is also a motivator to keep me practicing every day so that I don't lose, getting too little experience points to at least remain in the Diamond League, um, or sometimes I've competed in the tournament, and I've even been a winner from the tournament and all that. So I do like how they're using those to motivate people, because again, daily practice is super important and spaced repetition. Another thing they motivate people to keep practicing with is here. Even though I've done enough to have my daily streak keep going, um, I haven't got done enough of the daily quest to get triple experience points for 10 minutes for my first 10 minutes for tomorrow. So that is something I'm definitely planning on doing. I need 7 more experience points, which I just do one more lesson and I'll be there already. And also, I already got my 2 perfect lessons for today. That's funny because I only did 2 lessons today. I guess I thought that was enough for now. And then I need 15 more bonus experience points, because if you score well in a lesson, you don't make too many mistakes, you get some bonus points. And I think it zipped me on these because I thought I already should have 9 bonus experience points for today, but I guess not. Anyway, so I would have to do all 3 of those daily quests in order, or at least 2 of them, more likely if you do all 3 of them, to get my triple experience points bonus for the next day. And so that will keep me motivated a little more. And let's see, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. Oh, no, before I stop that, how about I show you what a course looks like when you haven't completed already and are not just doing the daily refresh. Because again, French I didn't do because I needed to learn how to speak French. After all, this is a language that I'm paid to teach other people how to speak. But um, let's show you what the chess lessons look like, which is again not an exact language. But so here, let's just show which ones I've done recently. You got interference too. So that's when you have a piece of yours and you interfere with them being able to take another piece and whatnot. But sometimes that can open up the original piece that you interfered from killing somebody. That can get you to be able to take them. Anyway, that's interference. Or this one was your best move. I like that one. Even though the moves are not ideal, when what were not what exactly what you're hoping for, but it helps you practice on finding the very best move. And then of course you have interference and checkmates. You do. I love it how it gives you a lot of practice uh, getting people in checkmate and all of that. But again, um, it's an AI based platform. So if you play a full chess match with Oscar, you're playing against a bot. It's like playing against the computer. Well, I do like that they have the option because, again, Duolingo, they also do have a social media aspect to it. Like I have people following me and I am following some other people. You have friend requests and friends and all of this. Um, and uh, so, yeah, it has that aspect of it. And so, given that there's other human learners, you can sometimes play a chess match against somebody. Let's see when would my next chance to do a whole full match with Oscar. Okay, that's not a real person. And let me see if I have uh, on the mobile app. I know how to get to playing a match against a real person as opposed to just Oscar. So I promise that's a possibility. Um, And, oh, there we go. I bet I can click on matches. Okay, matches 68, wins 49. Okay, win more often than I lose. But it's not a great amount. And 20-minute matches with Oscar. See, again, this is not what I was looking for. On the mobile app, sometimes I get an option to teach. You can choose between play a match with Oscar versus play against a real person. So I like that because that's what's lacking in the language courses interactions with real people. And I do like playing real people a little more because it's more like a real life chess match. They're far less predictable than the computer, right? Anyway. Um, Oh, and you have some motivations because you have these gems, which are otherwise known as lingots. Lingot, I think is how it's spelled. They might just call them gems now. And so you earn these for doing more exercises. You earn more gems. And also, you can earn more gems by watching ads. Um, and so you have stuff in the shop that you can buy with them. Like, for example, streak freezes. You can maintain your daily streak even if you forget a day or two if you have streak freezes. And you can see I'm equipped with 2 out of 2 streak freezes. And yeah, and so now beyond chess, let's look at what another language class looks like if you have not completed the course yet, still working on it. Let's go to Spanish and let's see where I am in that. And this unit is describing past events. This is back to section 3, unit 26, describing past events. Huh. I'm only in section 3. That's interesting. And oh, and there's a next little story I could listen to or read on the path. That's good. I like how they give you some reading and listening comprehension skills. But again, uh, and so when you're not haven't finished the course yet, they're going to take you literally step by step. You have describe past events to start with, and then here's a story again, a surprise ending. And again, this is showing your proficiency um, with reading and listening comprehension. So not your productive skills, your comprehension skills or your passive skills. And so more describing past events. And let's see if we can see what previous units look like. There we go. Okay. Talking about vacation was unit 21. And then unit 22 was go shopping. Then unit 23 gets us to say what you prefer. So again, you're working on different skills to talk about different things. And again, this will not get you to be completely fluent in a language. It can get you at best to level of B2, which is an upper intermediate level. And that is only if you use this as a supplement to other language learning methods. Anyway, and so and where am I with Italian? Again, it gets you to a whole different thing. Oh, I'm way back at section 4, unit 7, so I haven't done much of the Italian course at all now, have I? So negotiating buying a house, buying a house, that would be interesting. Um, and I'm going to start with opening a bank account. That's interesting. So anyway, that's what these Duolingo courses look like from the inside. And here I'm only at section 4. I could jump back to sections 1, 2, or 3 if you wanted, but I think I've probably shown you just about enough. And let's stop sharing for a minute there. And there you go. So that's what Duolingo courses look like from the inside. And again, like I mentioned earlier, that you're really not going to get to advanced fluency level with any of those. The best you can get to is level B2, which is pretty strong intermediate level speaker, which is honestly, that's the proficiency that a lot of jobs look for you to have, at least in a foreign language. A lot of jobs will say um, a second language preferred, and if you do speak that second language, they're hoping you have B2 proficiency, which is at least, intermediate level proficiency. And let's see. So does anybody have any questions for me? If anybody wants to pop a question into the live chat, I would be happy to answer it. But again, going back to what I was mentioning earlier, how far does Duolingo work? Yeah, it works to get you to a certain path, a certain stop along the journey. It will not help you become fully fluent in speaking the language. Trust me, what you need for that is interaction with other human beings in that language. And the more immersive you can get with that interaction, the better. Meaning, if you go into a place where you're using this target language with other people and you cannot use your native language as a crutch at any point, that will get you the best results. That will really accelerate your learning. And that's something that Duolingo does not really offer you. As an AI-based app alone, it can't really get you that far. And so I have made other videos about what does it take to acquire another language and to learn it, and even debunking some language learning myths. Feel free to check those out as well. Yeah, so in long story short, does Duolingo work? Yes, it works to get you up to a beginner level or possibly even into intermediate level at a language, but only if you're helping that you're just using that to help your learning along with other tools for it. Because Duolingo alone, that will not really get you beyond a beginning level unless you're supplementing it with other things, or rather using it as a supplement to your other learning course. Like, for example, if you're taking a language course in high school or college, middle school, well, in school, any school, you're taking a language course, you might find that Duolingo, taking that course on Duolingo as well, will help supplement your learning and help you start getting really good grades in the language class that you're taking. Um, and so that would be a good use for it. But deciding to use Duolingo instead of taking a language class at all, that to me seems a little short-sighted. It seems like it might not work out very well because if you're taking language class, typically that involves interacting with other human beings in the target language, which is part of what it really takes to learn a language. And yeah, so that's big part of it. So again, does Duolingo work? Yeah, but only to get you so far. At best, it will get you to me an intermediate level learner of the language. But to get to the advanced stages where you're really fluent, you're really going to need something else. It alone, Duolingo alone, cannot really get you there, in my opinion, which is an informed opinion because, again, I teach languages at the university level. And so, or although our department doesn't officially recommend, we don't especially recommend any given language learning app, but I think that's probably well, that's a bias we have. We would rather you be learning the language from us rather than using an app to learn it. But anyway, um, but in addition to that, we're just recognizing the fact that an app alone cannot be your only tool in learning this language. Like, it has to be a supplement to other stuff. But anyway, so there's that. And yeah, so unless anybody has any other questions to ask, I think that's mostly everything I had to, yeah, that I wanted to point out to you. And again, it depends a lot on how far you can get in Duolingo. It depends a lot on which language you're taking from it, because some of their courses are more developed than others. It also depends on whether you're taking a language that's very similar to your native language or not. Because the more similar the two languages are, the less work and the less time it's going to take you to learn that second language. So the big nine, the most developed languages on Duolingo, again, are English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese for the six European languages, as well as three Asian languages: Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. So those are the ones that can get you the farthest, because they will get you to possibly have a base of anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 words that you know well in the language. And they will give you solid grammar fundamentals, like being able to talk in the past and present and future, all those, and to put together, able to put together more complex sentences and all that. And those are the only ones that it can get you up as far as the B2 level goes. And again, you're going to need to supplement Duolingo with something else if you really want to get fully to B2 levels. And if you're going to want to get beyond them, you're going to want to switch to something else with a much bigger focus on speaking that language with other people. Anyway, and so there's some medium-sized languages that will not get you anywhere near as the big nine I just mentioned, anywhere near as far anyway as those, and those will get you from an A2 to a maximum of B1 level. So advanced beginner to maybe beginning intermediate level, like in Dutch or Russian or Swedish. But again, if you're a native English speaker, that wouldn't be the worst one to take. That's, I think, a category one language for an English speaker. Or if you want a somewhat simplified version of that, you might want to consider Afrikaans. If you're a native English speaker, Afrikaans is said to be almost as easy to learn as French or Italian. But anyway, and so for newer, much smaller languages where Duolingo can get you the least for a ball, only to an A1 proficiency, which means you're still a beginner. Um, that would be some indigenous languages like Navajo and Hawaiian, as well as some fictional languages, synthetic languages like Klingon. Um, and so it's got a lot of options for you, but there's only really 9 where you could be confident that you can get up to the intermediate level in. And again, that's 6 European languages and 3 Asian languages, which is not anywhere near the entirety of Duolingo's content. And so, one more time, just for good measure, the big 9 languages where Duolingo will get you the farthest would be English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. And again, it's not distinguishing Mandarin versus Cantonese or other Chinese dialects. It's a simplified Chinese version. But anyway, so those are the big 9. And if you're not taking one of those 9, probably the best you're going to do is end up finishing the whole course and still being a beginner in the language. So that's my advice. If you're looking to get completely fluent, and by the way, fluency is all about comfort. How comfortable do you feel speaking in a language? Because if you're not feeling comfortable enough speaking a language to open your mouth and say something, then you're not fluent, right? That's how it goes. But yeah, so that's what I had to say about Duolingo. Now, does anybody have any questions for me in the live chat? Or I suppose again, if you're watching this video on the replay, you can certainly leave a comment, and I will be happy. I do reply to all the comments with at least my little heart or a like on it. But often I answer an actual reply to that. If you ask a question there, I will be happy to do that. And so, since nobody is putting any any questions in the chat, I think that's a good time to wrap up. And so, yeah, for anybody else, please use the comment section and let's keep the conversation going. I'd be happy to do so. And yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing. And yeah, so I will catch you around next time. Bye-bye.